Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, welcome to another edition of the Poetic Inklings of Tomorrow. This is sponsored by A Poetic Slice of Life, which is sponsored by me and my husband. We both own and run the group, A Poetic Slice of Life, here at allpoetry.com. And I just want to give a shout out real quick to Kevin at allpoetry.com and all the crew there, because without him and all of the wonderful things that they bring to the website, it wouldn't have groups like this that we all can come to and hang out and be part of the shows that we are all in together. I just wanted to say that I am Kay, and my husband, Steven76, he will be here any moment. But I will start out by saying that tonight's show is about E.E. Cummins. I did a little bit of research about him last week, and he definitely was versatile with what he wrote, because he did write love poetry. He also wrote on the more serious side, but he also wrote sensual poems, and I came across some literature based on that. I have some quotes that I selected myself for the show this week, and the quotes that we chose for tonight are as follows. I will read those off real quick. To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best, night and day, to make you everybody else, means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting. And the second one is, you are my sun, my moon, and all of my stars. The next being, I like my body when it is with your body. And the next one is, love is the voice under all silences, the hope which has no opposite in fear, the strength so strong, more fierce than feebleness, the truth more first than sun, more last than stars. And the next one being, for whatever we lose, like a you or a me, it's always ourselves we find in the sea. The next quote is, we do not believe in ourselves until someone reveals that deep inside us something is valuable, worth listening to, worthy of our trust, sacred to our touch. Once we believe in ourselves, we risk curiosity, wonder, spontaneous delight, or any experience that reveals the human spirit. And the next one being, it takes courage to grow up and become who you really are. And then the last one, which is actually when you first come into our group, it says, the most wasted of all days is one without laughter. And that is one that I truly agree with, because you need a smile and a laughter at least once a day, or else the day is truly wasted. Now, without further ado, I pick up our caller, Wayne. Hi, Wayne. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good tonight. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Just busy with Thanksgiving and all that other stuff.
I hear that. I got about 5 hours of cooking to go tonight.
Oh, yeah, you definitely have a lot to do. We started our prep work yesterday.
Yeah, it's
we
working.
still have some more to do.
Yeah, I'm not cooking that much. I'm just cooking for like 5 people.
Ah, yeah. Funny thing is, with all the work that we're doing, we're only cooking for 3 people, because it's only going to be me, Steven, and our son tomorrow. But, you know, Steven, he wants all the big spread, because Thanksgiving is a big deal for him.
Yeah, it's
so
a
he's
big deal
doing
for me too.
work.
If you like to cook, it's a big deal.
I think it is, because he definitely loves to cook. So I just let him do it, and I just sit back and let him do it.
That's the way I am too. I like to do the cooking.
That's
Taste
great.
so much stuff. You're not hungry. When the meal gets here, we don't taste nothing because we done tasted everything. We're not really hungry when the meal gets here, but the preparation is so much fun.
It can be, yeah. I just never was fond of the cleanup afterwards. So Steven and I have our own balance of trying to, you know, handle the cleanup without making too much of a mess. That's always
Right.
I do.
I clean as I go. I usually don't have many things to clean up after I'm done. Just the dishes when the meal's over. I clean as I go.
I do too. That kind of bothers Steven at times, because he thinks I'm a neat freak when I do that. But I think that in the long run, it does help you. So that way you don't have as much work later.
It absolutely does help.
It does. So I hear that you have to...
You could do the turkey and ham tomorrow, or just the turkey or ham?
We're just doing turkey. We do ham for Christmas. But, yeah, Steven's going to put that in the oven like around 10 a.m. But that's all on him. Are you doing the turkey or ham tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to do chicken and ham tomorrow. I have a big turkey, so I have chicken and dumplings. I'm taking it easy on turkey this year.
Oh,
hard
that
to eat the whole
sounds
turkey.
cool.
Yeah, it's hard to eat the whole turkey. So if we're gonna go chicken, I'm gonna chicken dumplings and chicken dressing.
You know, that sounds good. It's been a long time since I've had chicken and dumplings, and it's hard to find it done just right because I've had chicken and dumplings. It didn't taste as great. So yeah, if it's done right, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty. I got it done pretty pat.
I imagine you're a good cook, Wayne.
Well, I've owned 2 restaurants, so I've had an experience.
Awesome. He can't hear you. You're in the kitchen. You got to get out here. Yeah, Stephen just came in the door. But before I drop your poem in the room, I am going to pick up Deanne.
Hello, everybody. Happy pre-Thanksgiving.
Happy pre-Thanksgiving. How are you?
I'm good. I had my baby grandson today, so yeah, I was able to rest a bit after his mom picked him up. So I'm ready to share some time with you.
Oh, that's good. Sounds like everybody had a great time today.
Yes.
How old is the grandson?
I don't think Deanne heard.
What did you say?
Deanne, how old is your grandson?
Oh, hi, Wayne.
Hi.
He's 15 months old. He's 15
Oh,
months.
man.
Oh yeah. Oh man is right. Yeah, he's a mover and a shaker, I tell you. Yeah, he's fun. He's fun.
I've got a granddaughter. I've got a granddaughter. She just turned 23.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
Let me take them out.
yeah. My grandchildren aren't that old yet.
That's it. You don't see much of when they get that old.
I know. Something's wrong with that.
They got their own life.
Yeah, we have 8 grandchildren.
8? Oh, my God.
Children. Yeah. And the oldest one is 19, and the youngest is 15 months. So that's a pretty broad span there.
You'll be busy for a while.
Yes. So it sounds like you got a good show going on tonight, Kay. I was looking at all your different entries.
Yeah.
Okay. Now turn yours up. Sorry.
Mute that one.
Yeah, I gotta mute my phone too. Sorry. Okay.
Sorry, we had to switch phones.
Okay, I am back.
Hello.
Hey, Stephen.
How are you?
Good. Happy to be with you all tonight.
All right, just got home from work.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Work.
Remember Maynard V. Krebs and Toby Gillis?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Until they say work, he go work.
Yeah. That was played by Gilligan. Was it
Bob Denver?
Bob Denver.
No,
Bob Denver. Yeah.
Yeah, Bob Denver.
Yeah, Bob Denver. Yes. So, Stephen, do you get the rest of the weekend off? Are you off for 4 days?
No.
You gotta go back Friday?
No. I gotta go back Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
You work in retail. There's no such thing as a store closing over the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. You'll be working some overtime, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You'll be out there with all the crazies.
Well, yeah. Friday's a very slow day for me because I work in the cafe of the store. I'm the cook in there, and
oh, okay.
Friday is very, very slow for us, so I'm just going to be bored.
Catching up on stuff.
Cleaning, lots of cleaning.
Oh, that's catching up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need that time to get that stuff done.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So do we want to?
Well, Wayne he doesn't have much time because he has stuff to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick around about 30 minutes or so.
I'll still drop your song.
There's your poem. I see it.
Oh.
You see it, Wayne?
Not upper yet. Let me refresh here. Right. Let's see. There it is.
All right.
I was reading some poems by E. Cummings, and I came across this poem he had, "All in Green," with my love about writing. Which and I started reading it, and it had a weird rhyme scheme, and it was kind of strange the way it was wrote. So I thought I'd try to imitate it and be inspired by it. And so mine was something like this. It's called "Flood Came In Like It Was Late." Flood came in like it was late, dark blackish hell, sprinkled with gray, everything in its path, sad. It was the river's boat time to boast, seen all this before. The beauty of spring, the battle call, didn't expect what I saw, hate what I saw. The three families prepared, how I missed it before. Better get out than not, rebound when anger abides. Things can be worse than sad. It was the river's turn to boast, soon to live life as before. Nighttime will have chills a while, death and destruction I saw. Can't believe what I saw. It was being prepared, kept us alive, but not the same as before. As the water recedes, rebirth, we still have a life to live, not worth spending time sad. It was the river's turn to boast, think of only of the times before. Only a second in a lifetime, time to forget what I saw. I'll never forget what I saw. It was three families made it out alive. I was told about it before. I can't blame myself. It will come back again. Going to try to not be sad. It's now my turn to boast. Live life as before. Him.
Wow. Pretty cool, Wayne. Yeah, that is definitely an interesting rhyme scheme.
He does ABC. He does ABC, BA, CB, and then he does all the same word at the end. They have the same word repeating, not the same rhyme, but the same word. And then every time that it's on the C stanza, it's always he plays the same word for the last two lines, like saw. It's kind of weird, isn't it? But it's kind of fun to write. You know, they got that one line that goes to every other D, every other C. It goes, it was time for the river to boast. It repeats itself every other time the stanza comes along. So it was hard to imitate, and it's fun to write.
Very cool. Is it based on truth? Did you go through a flood like this?
Oh, I've been through a lot of floods, but it wasn't. It was kind of. It just came to mind when I was reading his, and his ain't nothing like this. It's a whole different storyline, but it just kind of came to mind when I was trying to think of a storyline, and I thought a flood would be good to do this, and so I went with a flood. And I've been in a lot of floods, but I didn't face on any particular flood.
Okay. Yeah, because I would say we've been through one flood here that was really, really horrid.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, they are. I don't know that anybody passed in it, but I know that there are floods out there that, can be very, very deadly. And you kind of really brought the emotion in this on that, and and you wrote it really well. Kay actually pulled the actual poem up. I think that did you put a link in there? Is that what it was?
No, I didn't. I found this offline, but if maybe you want to read it so people can get a feel of the poem and what Wayne's at.
That's the point I went after.
Yeah, but this was really cool, right? What did you think, hon?
Yeah, I thought this was a great write because you did you brought the words to life in your vision through your eyes. But I also see the fury of nature with what you brought, the aftermath, the needing to rebuild afterwards, while knowing that things can't be the same and moving forward with that knowledge. But I can also see it being equated to man as well, because sometimes the fury that man can give also has repercussions. So I thought this was a great write with a lot of great personification.
Yeah, indeed. What do you think, Deanne?
Oh yeah, it's a very emotional write. I'm looking at all these great lines, Wayne. It's the imagery is awesome. What really got me is this one here. Nighttime will have chills a while. Death and destruction. I saw. Can't believe what I saw. So like you were talking about with floods, I have never actually lived through one, but I know several people. My aunt, she totally lost her house. They actually had a house right by the river. And it was one of those houses that are built on stilts. And the Great Flood of 1993 took it all out. I mean, the water came all the way up to probably maybe 2 feet from her ceiling. And the only thing that was saved was their wedding picture. The flood came right beneath the wedding picture. It was the only thing that was saved. I thought that was really interesting. So this is very emotional for me. And it's so true. There's no need to blame myself. It will come back again. Going to try and not be sad. So, yeah, a lot of fury in this, sadness. I love the title. Flood came in like it was late. I love that.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah,
right,
when a flood comes in, when a flood comes in, you know where to run. You got to get out before it gets there. It's too late.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't wait.
I know.
No. Yeah, that has to be really terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours was aerial flood too. It was just heavy rains. It came and wouldn't stop. And yeah, there's a river near here too. I remember how they weren't expecting it to rain that day because we went to the zoo.
Yeah.
When it started, and we left the dogs out in the pen.
Yeah.
And we came home, and those poor pooches were drenched and looking so sad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so pitiful. Oh, my goodness. So you got home in time to get them safe.
Yeah, we did, but wow.
Oh, good. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Our house took some damage.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
The living room and James's room, they were ruined. We had to fix that up.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
It was bad.
So then you have the water damage, and then you have the risk of mold, so you got to get everything gutted.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what we do.
I see Sky's here.
Yeah.
Ah, Sky.
Hi,
Hi.
Hello.
Are you really here?
I'm alive. I'm alive.
Hello, Sky.
Hi, Deanne.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm home now, Stephen. But my computer is freezing and I can't do anything right now. But I literally just walked in the door and threw about like 10 tons of food in my refrigerator, and I can't even eat pie. I just can't even do. I can't even do it. It's like
10
I brought it
tons,
home with me. I
You
don't
have pie?
even. And I have
I'm on
banana
my way.
cream pie.
Banana
like
cream.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I really want some, but I don't even want to get up now and cut myself a piece. I didn't have any time. Auntie's checked out.
Well, good. Come and just rest with us. Just chill out with us. Here's some poetry.
No more talk
Yeah,
of food. I
like,
haven't eaten since 8 o'clock this morning.
Really?
You haven't?
Oh my God, Stephen. I couldn't.
snacking
My mother
food.
fed me so much. I can't. I don't even. I just don't want to look at food.
Isn't that so much
All
to
right,
be thankful for, though, to actually say that? Yeah. But there's so much food. Yeah. That's a wonderful thing.
So Kay wanted me to read the poem that Wayne based his off of with the rhyme scheme from E.E. Cummings. And it's called All in Green Went My Love Riding. All in green went my love riding, on a great horse of gold, into the silver dawn. 4 lean hounds crouched low and smiling, their merry deer ran before. Fleeter be they than dappled dreams, the swift, sweet deer, the red, rare deer. 4 red roebuck at a white water, the cruel bugle sang before. Horn at hip went my love riding, riding the echo down into the silver dawn. 4 lean hounds crouched low, I lost it, and smiling. The sheer peaks ran before. Paler be they than daunting death, the sleek, slim deer, the tall, tense deer. 4 tall stags at a green mountain, the lucky hunter sang before. All in green went my love riding, on a great horse of gold, into the silver dawn. 4 lean hounds crouched low and smiling. My heart fell dead before. End poem.
There you
Little
go.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wayne did an awesome job.
Yeah, Wayne, you did an awesome job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hard to copy. Good read there, Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, we want to comment on E. Cummings' poem?
I don't know. I mean, I could definitely see it was, different.
Yeah.
I didn't hear of this one because last week I did a little bit of research about him, and the rights that I came up from him was low poetry, sensual poetry.
Yeah.
And as I told you, I saw pictures of what he looked like when he was younger, and I can imagine because of his good looks, him using his love poetry to pick up the ladies. Probably.
Yeah.
He went through a couple of divorces, I think.
Oh, I'm sure he
Maybe a
did.
few divorces.
Yeah, probably. Good words, but hard with the emotions.
Yeah.
Maybe two
But
good
no, I thought this is definitely an interesting write from E.E. Cummings. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I only came across this like less than an hour ago. So I thought that Wayne definitely did a great job of taking this right and then bringing his vision to words wonderfully from the right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Enjoyed it.
do you need to read and run?
Dan, do you need to read and run?
Well, I can stay the first hour.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick around. Close to an hour.
All right.
Sounds good.
I'm here.
Okay,
But I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my computer to work, so it might be difficult for me to follow along. But I will try.
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with
Well,
it. It's just black. It has like the black screen of death, something.
Oh, no.
I hope not.
Yeah,
We
that
do.
would be terrible. Okay. Well, then I guess I will drop the silver winner down
All right.
and have Deanne read that one.
Okay. Dan, would you like to read for T. Perry?
Yes, I would love to. Okay. So this is your silver winner. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was looking at this, and I read in his AN the quote he used: "The most wasted of all days are ones without laughter." And then I read, "This piece describes my grief after losing my eldest daughter and how my beautiful granddaughters rescued me." Woo, that gave me a whole new perspective on this poem.
Yeah.
Okay, and he calls it Into the Light. In the ringing bells of laughter, love provides its greatest prize. Should I willingly surrender and thus seek a compromise? In the chasm of my heartache, happiness shall disappear. Loneliness is wrapped in silence, and still weeping bitter tears. Come the music of sweet angels, precious innocence of youth. Take this broken old curmudgeon and entice him with the truth. Lead him gently to your garden where the wild roses grow. Furnish him with fun and laughter. Let him reap the seeds you sow. End poem.
Wow.
Excellent read. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I read the author's notes on this too, and we want to thank you for reading that too, because we were going to read those anyway. So I'm glad that you read them.
Yes, thank you for
Deanne,
asking.
Since you read it, you get to comment first.
Okay, thank you. Well, it just really pierced my heart knowing from where he wrote this, according to his quote, his chosen quote. And isn't that the truth? The most wasted of all days are ones without laughter. And I suppose he was reflecting at all the moments that maybe he could have enjoyed and laughed with his eldest daughter and missed them. I'm thinking that's where this poem was written out of, and I feel pain. But then I see the hope at the end as he's calling out, the music of sweet angels to bring about this fun and laughter. So very emotional, right? Very excellent rhyme. I really enjoyed the rhyme as well. Definitely most worthy silver. Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Excellent comment. Ooh, I hear snow outside. It's snowing.
It's snowing.
What? Snowing?
Yep.
We've already had snow here. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough winter this year.
Yeah, I think so.
I love to watch it fall.
Me too.
Me too. From the inside.
Yes.
From the inside. Yes, we've talked about this. That's right.
Yeah, I agree with you on this, right? I thought it was wonderful, but I was also very sad, and I am very sorry for the poet's loss. But it's always good when there's somebody there that can help you through such terrible times, like his granddaughters did, and he really captured all that with his right, I thought.
Yeah.
What did you think, Mom?
Yeah, I will say first off, my condolences on your loss, T. Perry, because, there are certain griefs. When you lose certain people, that pain will always be there. Because for the first 4 years, I did shut myself off from the world, and I finally got to a point where I realized I needed to start living. And the funny thing is, it was certain things that woke me up. It was a family member, but also the words that go through my head a lot is my family doctor, because I was struggling really bad with my depression. I would tell him that, my son, he doesn't see what's going on. My son, James, that is, he's an adult now. He doesn't know what's going on. He just sees me sleeping all the time, so he doesn't know about the grief I feel. And I remember him lecturing me and telling me, you don't think your son doesn't see what's going on? He knows what's going on. He just doesn't know how to verbalize it. And the thing is, sometimes when you get lost in grief, you don't realize that you can shut other people out. And I know with my grief, I shut other people out. And sometimes that hurts to know that people like my son, James, I shut him out in ways that I didn't even know that I was. Just stopped living. And if you can find the light, and if you can find certain things that help you to come out of the grief enough so that way you can start living again, that is a beautiful thing, because when people leave us, they will always be with us, but you've also got to find a way to live as well while honoring their memory. And I love how his aunts say that it was his granddaughters that helped him to find light, find laughter again. Because through it all in life, I do believe a day can be wasted if you can't smile at least once or laugh at least once. You need that because it helps to brighten up the day. I thought this was a wonderful way.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Why are you looking at me?
Because it was a nice comment.
Oh, thank you.
Wayne, what did you think?
I can try to comprehend losing a child. To be just, I can't even comprehend it. I can understand losing my mom and my dad because they're older, but to lose a child, it'd be hard to get through it. As I look at my friends that died, I always look at them as in a plight where they was happy and we always had fun together. And I remember them all, and they're still with me. But to lose a son or a daughter, it'd be hard to comprehend. But anyway, this poem here is lovely, has great rhyme, and I'm sorry about his loss, but thank God he had granddaughters come by and save him. And the last verse is the last stanza, the one I like the best, which says, "Lead him gently into your garden, where the wild roses grow. Furnish him with fun and laughter. Let him reap the seed you sow." That was a great verse right there, stanza right there. And I like his point, but it's just hard to understand when you go through to lose a child. It'd be hard to comprehend.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy thing. Unfortunately, Carrie and I have gone through it, and it does. You think about it every day. Sky, can you make a comment?
Yes, I can. I thought this one was a really good one, and I like how he sets it up because, if you take away the author's notes, you can still see the feeling and the intent behind it with the first stanza setting it up. The ringing bells of laughter, love provides the greatest prize. Should I willingly surrender or thus seek a compromise? So he sets it up to present the question. There's a compromise, and what I can only imagine is perhaps that these are his daughter's daughters, and in loving them, it is some, like loving a part of your daughter still, and being able to have that gift, really it is a gift to be able to have the children of your children. But I really liked how in the second stanza you see the sadness of the loss. And then what I really liked about it was that he said, music of sweet angels, precious innocence of youth, take this broken old curmudgeon and entice him with the truth. I really loved that stanza because I thought it showed that light and that hope, and that saying, and saying that they are like sweet angels to him. It was just such a beautiful sentiment and to write this, and I really liked how he was able to share a piece of himself in the author's notes. Really well done. Beautiful.
Excellent comments.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
I will read our bronze winner, which is Jeff Duran, because I think he is on the board.
All right. Did we drop a link so you can hear it? Or?
Oh, no. Can you do that?
I can do that.
Because in the beginning I tapped on a lot of things there.
As long as my phone is being cooperative today like it wasn't yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
And my computer is now being cooperative.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
I just had to restart it.
And I will link you in a bit with one to read, Sky.
No, I want to surprise her with one. I'm just kidding.
Just kidding. Okay.
Hey, you know what's really funny? I just dropped. So the name of this is Rainbow in My Cloud, and I just dropped a rainbow picture because when I came home tonight, there was a rainbow on the car next to me getting out of my car. These rainbows follow me everywhere. They're on my doorstep. They're just everywhere I go. I see rainbows.
Aww.
And I said to my friend, I'm like, I texted her when I got home, and I'm like, I don't know what it is, but everywhere I go, there's like a rainbow, and not like just in the sky, like really random spots, like on the wall, there's a rainbow. And I'm like, it's just really weird that this always happens. And she's like, it's someone that you love saying hello. And I'm like, oh,
I love that.
Okay. So this is by Jeff Duran, and he wrote to the quote, I like my body when it is with your body, and it is called Rainbow in My Cloud. I am ugly. My body is full of burns and scars. I hide my tears by standing in the torrential showers. I have only one wish. When will I find my soulmate? I keep praying to the stars. Then I saw a shooting star. Knew my wish got accepted when I saw Cinderella in front of me. Was in awe and kept gazing at her for hours. With you around, my world is heavenly, and my darkest days have turned to sunny. I feel myself with you and all the hardships, no matter how much bitter, taste sweet like pizza dipped in honey. You have turned my flaws into strengths. I have forgotten what were my imperfections. My life's journey is going to a dream destination, and I am on the path of resurrection. I will bring the world to your feet, be your shadow, and cling to you like a thread. Our love story will become a fairy tale told to children before going to bed. End poem.
Yeah, this was pretty cool. I like it. I like the some of the words that he uses in this. Excuse me. But one of the things I told him is, when you find the right person, they have a way of making you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
And I know you do that to me. But the first stanza made me think of some things that I wrote. And of course, there's always, was it Smokey Robinson, or who was it that sang, "How I wish it would rain"?
I wish it would rain now.
Yeah, because raindrops hide my teardrops. No one will ever know. And I'm crying. Well, who sings that song?
Sing it, Steve.
But anyway.
You have a great voice,
I
too.
wish that it would rain. I don't remember who sings it though.
I don't know. I'm hearing Phil Collins. I wish you would rain now down on me, but that's probably a different song.
No, I'm thinking something older, something from the '60s.
Well, then you got.
It might have been Smokey Robinson in there. But yeah, hiding my tears while standing in torrential downpours. My body is full of burns and scars. But the one that really made me smile, and other people will probably agree, was make my hardships, no matter how bitter, taste sweet, like pizza dipped in honey.
Yeah, I know. You kind of.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just so. Yeah, that just made me smile when I read that.
Yeah.
I really awesome write, Jasker Ann.
Yeah, it is. I would have to agree because I like how he mentions about turning flaws into the strengths and forgotten what were the imperfections. And, you know, it's true. Like you said, if you find the right person, they will make you feel a certain way. They will make you see things that you didn't see before, and they'll make you feel good about yourself as well. Because, you know, with Jeff Grant, right, it definitely speaks of finding that special person and what they can bring forth in one. And, you know, when you find that special person, it does make you want to be a better person for not only yourself, but also for that person in your life. And that's a wonderful thing because it helps you continue on your path of growth. Beautiful, right?
Yeah. Indeed. What did you think, Deanne?
Yes, thank you. I agree with both of you. My favorite lines were the one you shared, Kay. And then my life's journey is going to a dream destination, and I'm on the path of resurrection. I love that. That has a beautiful spiritual essence to it. It has a real ethereal feel to it. I just love that one. A beautiful creation to the quote. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. And what did you think, Wayne?
It was a beautiful love poem. I really liked the way you wrote it, and you can feel the love in his words. It's got to be a true story by the way you wrote it. And I like the line like the best is, "I'll bring the world to your feet, be your shadow, and cling to you like a thread." And you can tell it changed his life when he met the girl. So it's a good poem, and he wrote it well, and it's touching. I like it a lot.
Excellent comment. And Sky, what did you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and you know, I'm gonna have to. I'm not a huge fan of honey because it's so sweet, but I do like it in moderation. So I'm gonna have to try pizza and honey now because that sounds weird, but sometimes the things that sound the weirdest are really, really good. Like cream cheese and mustard. Cream cheese and mustard and mayonnaise on a sandwich is really bad for you. It's terribly bad for you, but it's really good. And you would never think that cream cheese and mustard go together. Yeah, but it's really good. It's like ham and cheese. It's the weirdest thing, but it tastes delicious. But I try not to have it too often.
I'm going to have to try it.
Well, how do you eat that? How do you eat that, though? What do you eat with it?
Well, I usually, like, when I have it, which is not often, but I put it on a bagel, and then I put cream cheese, and then ham and cheese, mustard, and a little bit of mayonnaise, and some lettuce. And it's so delicious. But
I'm going to have to try that, too.
It is the funkiest thing. Yeah. So I'm going to have to try this pizza and honey thing, because he seems to really, hold on, I need to yell at children. I think it is the, I don't even know why they're not passed out yet. I literally woke them up at 6 o'clock this morning and dragged them for however many hours that is. But this is just, this is wonderful. I really love about it is that in the beginning it's really touching because it is one thing to kind of have your thoughts inwardly and have those insecurities inwardly, or even maybe put them on a page for only you to read. But to put something on a page and your insecurities and the things, your sadness onto a page, and open yourself up to other people in such a way where you start saying this with "I am ugly." And I think a lot of us have been there. I think a lot of us feel like that sometimes, and it's a difficult thing to swallow and a scary thing to share. So one, I love that he's brave enough to go on to here and say, this is what I feel, and this is what this person had done to my life. You know, they had seen through what I perceive as ugly, because sometimes we see ourselves differently than the world sees us. You know, sometimes we put a lot of more criticism than other people may have put on us. But and I love that he wrote, you know, I saw Cinderella in front of me. I was in awe. Kept gazing at her for hours, and you could feel that love. And then you go through to the end. It's in almost like a story-like feel with the, you know, I'll bring to your feet, be your shadow and cling to you like a thread. I really loved that part, and I loved the loyalty that you see and the fierce love. This was really, really well written, Jazz, and it shows your heart. It is definitely a heart right. And I like that. I enjoy writes like that. End poem. End comment. I don't know.
Yeah, we got to know when you're done, you know.
Yeah. But she says sometimes she's not done when she says that, too.
I know. She pauses. We think she's done, and then she keeps going. And we hang on to every word. We love it.
Let's welcome Identity Crisis to the show. Hello, IC.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Identity.
Hi, IC. Hi.
How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Oh, there's a big dog.
I'm sorry. I'm babysitting the neighbor's dog, and it's huge and really loud. And I don't even know the neighbor. She just had to ask me. I just did it as a favor because her mom was in the hospital. And so that's the last time I'll do that. She said he takes his commands in German. I said, I don't speak German. So he just looks at me like, you idiot.
I'm just about to ask that. IC, do you have to read and run?
Did I submit? I don't think I submitted a poem this time.
No, you were in the contest for the show, so you have a poem in there.
Oh, okay. I don't need to read and run.
Okay, cool.
Then I will drop Deanne.
So. All right, we're going to put Deanne's in, and Deanne was my first HM?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I was so moved by this quote that I chose. It just took me on to this really wild path where I ended up writing my two stanzas. And it's, love is the voice under all silences, the hope which has no opposite in fear, the strength so strong, more fierce in feebleness, the truth more first than sun, more last than stars. And I titled it, Love is the Voice Under All Silences. Breathing in shared silence, lost together within a crystal sphere, entwined bodies cling as they're shielded from the rabid ants of disintegration. White water surfing into electrified fibers of blended synchronicity, thirsty mouths gulp the drippings of caramel moon sweetness over and over again. End poem.
Wow. Yeah, I really liked the imagery that you used. It really drew me into the poem, and I like how you described two people becoming one, and even through the hardships that they might go through. That's what I got from the rabid ants of disintegration.
Yes.
Yeah, this was really cool, and I wanted to medal you, but they only let you do 3 of those. So
no, at HM, I look at it HM as a medal. Are you kidding me? That's what I crave. They're virtual medals. So it's the acknowledgement. So no, I love all that. Are you kidding me? So thank you.
He's always saying that, HM. Their honorable mention is a ribbon.
Yes. Yeah.
And do you know what it really is, Stephen? Honestly, people are just thankful for the like. If it wasn't for that prompt, this right wouldn't exist. That's how I look at it. When I see a prompt and somebody's prompting me, and I'm like, that's that inspiration. What more really can you ask for?
Yeah.
True, but I've actually been chewed out for giving people HMs before, so I just.
Well, those are for reasons. Yeah, I have.
That's really sad. It's just sad.
Yeah.
Oh, come
they
on.
hate green.
Maybe that's it. I like to call it an emerald chalice. That's what I call it.
I call it a jade medallion.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I like that. I call it a jade cup. Kind of dress it up a little bit,
Yeah.
But E. Cummins, he is really a very unusual writer. I mean, some of the wording, but he's fascinating, and you wonder how he puts the words together, and yet they're just so full of feeling and emotion. But he's definitely a fascinating author to me, and I really appreciate him. So great quotes. Thank you.
What did you think of Deanne's right, hon?
Yeah, I thought this was a wonderful write because you always give such intriguing lines in your writes. I like the line, thirsty mouth, gulp the drippings of caramel moon sweetness over and over again, because that has such a delicious end to it, that line there. But you're right all around. It does speak of the sweetness of love. And I have to agree with what you said, Stephen, because love is not easy. It will have its peaks and valleys. And if you have the determination and love to want to keep moving forward despite what comes your way, then love will be the sweetest gift. It will be the greatest reward for putting all the effort in because you loved each other enough to want to be there and stick around.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. And, that's when that last line came to me, rabid ants of disintegration. They always say it's not the mountains that destroy a couple's love. It's the ant hills. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
It's those little ant hills, that just keep piling up. Those are the ones that kill a marriage. It's not the mountains, because usually the mountains bring you together. But it's those ant hills. And so when I came up with that line, I thought that really fits with, the truth more first, than sun, more last than stars. So that it's a perpetual love, forever and ever.
Yeah. It is an awesome line.
It is.
It really is.
Thank you.
Very true.
Thank you.
Wayne, what did you think?
I thought it was a lovely poem. When she first started out, she was reading E. Cummings' poem. I got lost. I started flipping around, thought I had his wrong poem. And then I finally got my senses back.
Thanks, Wayne.
Cummings don't have anything on you. Your phrases are as good as his or better. I like you said, the one the shooter from the disintegration was a great phrase I never heard before. That's a great phrase. Disintegration. And the way you just described it and defined it was a great definition. You're right about the little small things will tear your marriage up, not the just worry about the big things. They take care of themselves. So the one you fit right in with his quote, and great poem. I liked it a lot.
Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate that.
Excellent. And Sky, what did you think?
Well, she wrote the poem and then she stole my favorite line.
Okay, which one is it?
I don't think that ever happened before.
What is it?
It was the rabid ants of disintegrate. Oh, that's just brilliant. I did have one other one. Oh, I had a few. I had like the whole poem. It's like one of those poems where you read it and you're like, oh no, wait, that's it. Oh no, wait, no, that one is. And it's really, you keep going and it's like, you can't cut and paste the whole thing. But when you were reading it, it didn't feel like a brevity. Maybe it was because you get so far into the sentences and you get so deep into it that when you get out of it, you're like, I don't feel like that was a brevity. And looking at it, it just seems much longer than what it's like a tricking. It plays tricks on your eyes. But I really liked the play on white water surfing. you hear of whitewater rafting, but I don't think I've ever heard of whitewater surfing.
Yeah, we're on our feet. Yeah.
I like when you're reading it, that's the point where it hit. I'm like rabbit ants, that's my favorite one. And then you're like whitewater, I'm like, no wait, that is. And you're like electrified fibers, and I'm like, no. And then you go with the blended synchronicity, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop trying to pick this because I really love those lines. And then thirsty mouths gulp the drippings of caramel moon sweetness. All right, I'm going to resend everything. I think those are my favorite lines.
Thank you, Sky. Thank you.
I still can't pick. This was just stunningly beautiful. And, and I always say you have to come out big. You got to go big or go home when it comes to brevity. Because in order to really make an impact and really make a difference and have that feeling and have that entire depth in so few words, and you have to pick those words so particularly, and you did here, and I think especially towards I'm going to settle on the thirsty mouth scope because that was just I loved caramel moon sweetness. I'm going to get a toothache hearing that thing. Just a sentence.
Thank you, Sky. And I love the background. The background looks like a bunch of caramel, doesn't it? And moon shape.
Yeah. I love that abstract background. I have a couple of ones that I like this. I really enjoy those. But you will hear about the caramel Milky Way, but you don't hear about the caramel moon. Those when you say caramel moon, it brings distinct images to my mind of the atmosphere just swirling around, and it's those kind of images that bring this piece to life. So this was really well done.
Thank you, Queen of Comments.
Good one.
Queen of Rambling.
Well, that's your term. Mine is Queen of Comments.
I still haven't heard her say uncommon.
That's right. Yeah, we're waiting.
She read it, and I keep going back and reading the lines. It's like even if you take them line for line out of order, it is just I love it. So it's not end comment because I'm still reading it in random orders now.
Thank you, Sky.
It's never going to end. We're going to be here all night. End comment.
Oh, yeah, they still got to cook the pumpkin pie. I see. What did you think?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was excellent. I thought that, you did say I see, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. The phone kind of broke up. But I thought it was excellent. I think the terminology that she used is superb, and I could feel myself in my relationship with my past spouse, that one love, that one in the whole universe that you're connected to, and no matter what comes your way, nothing can break that. No argument, no hate, no anything. And you can go outdoors and relish that under the beautiful ivory moon and under the stars, or even on a cold night. It's just a one-of-a-kind love, and bravo.
Yes.
And comment, sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I mean, it's really great.
Thank you. Oh, and you're up.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. We just put your poem in the room.
Mm-hmm. All righty. It's called You're My Everything. It's based off of You Are My Sun, My Moon, and All of My Stars by E.E. Cummings. You're the warm sun upon my face, a bright sparkling white star at night, Milky Way that my fingers trace, the moon shining down an ivory light. A colorful world circling every base, without a battle and or fight, golden coins locked in my case, I relish in the sweetness of sight. my banquet of flowers and lace, blueprints that mapped in might. Baby, you're my everlasting grace, the feathered wings that grant me flight. And point.
Yeah, awesome. And you were another one of my honorable mentions. But I really love this.
Thank you.
I felt this is a wonderful poem of love and devotion, and the imagery that you put in there is beautiful. I like my favorite was that first stanza, the Milky Way that my fingers trace, the moon shining down an ivory light. I can close my eyes and just picture that beauty. And and once again, when you find the right person, everything is just that much better. And this was wonderful.
Oh, it is.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. Thank you.
What do you think, hon?
Oh, I have to agree with what you say because I see this as a definite right from the heart. Because if you do find that one special person, they will be your everything, and it will be amazing. And the years that come together, they will go by too fast. But
you're right, and it's these things that keep us remembering that love. Although I greatly miss my spouse. We were together 28 years. When I write things like this, it brings him back to life, if that makes sense. And that's what E.E. Cummings does for me. He gives me life and breath.
That's good. Yeah, and I agree with you. There's our wonderful pal Joseph Moon. He's always writing about his wife that passed away.
Yeah.
So definitely. Yeah. Deanne, what did you think?
Oh, I just love your rhyme. The rhyme is so beautiful and flows so eloquently. Your imagery, yes, your imagery is just gorgeous. And now that you give us a little bit of background story, it just makes it more personal. You know, it's not just written to E.E. Cummings, but it's your life love that you enjoyed for 28 years. Yeah, I'm just so sorry for your loss. But it's those memories that keep us going, and you write beautiful poetry out of that. So it's truly beautiful. I love my bouquet of flowers and lace, blueprints that mapped in might. Baby, you're my everlasting grace, the feathered wings that grant me flight. Oh, we can't really ask for any more of a relationship than that. And I know E.E. Cummings would be really proud of this.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Big hugs.
Yes. Welcome.
And Sky, what did you think?
Well, I thought this was a beautiful, beautiful piece. You know, bright. First of all, the sun, the warmth of the sun on her face. I mean, I think we all have been there, where we just go outside and there's this feeling that you get. It's the vitamin D from the sun, you know, and just kind of sit there.
Yes.
It interlocks things in your brain and intermingles into your emotion, and it's a feeling not many things can replicate. So I really love that you opened with that, for one. And then you go on to the bright, sparkling stars, the Milky Way. You know, you talk about the expanse of the universe, and something that we don't even know anything else, you know, the breath that it goes out to. But you know that your love mimics that there is a vastness in that it is sometimes not understandable, but you know that it's there. And I like how you make that bit of connection and that little bit of, I don't want to say metaphor because it's not a metaphor. What is that word I'm looking for? Stephen, you know it. You always use
I do?
Yes.
I do?
I'll think about it later. I'll think about it later, but there's a word that I'm looking for. That my brain is shut down, part of it, so I can't think of the word.
Okay.
I really,
I'm trying
really
to think now, too.
Yeah, you start thinking, Stephen, because you always say it. It's not metaphor, it's something else, and I can't think of what it is. But
and it's more than 4 letters, Stephen.
And then you go into the colorful world circling every base without a battle or a fight, and I just loved it. I loved the golden coins, the flowers. there was just so many beautiful images, something that you can just sit there and say, you know, you can see your love through the beauty in the lines. I think when we write about people that we love, we tend to have a softness in our rights, a soft voice and a soft, beautiful words when you're describing someone that we care about, and you can definitely see that in this piece. Yeah.
Yes.
And comment. And that was
Thank you. And I want this also to reflect, although it showed, you know, because it makes me feel bad, because in the same month, a different day, I lost my 16-year-old daughter. And, you know, I don't want, do you guys think that this takes away from her because this poem's not about both of them?
No.
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, I just wanted your advice. You guys are professionals and great, you know, and I just didn't know if that is what I should feel like.
No.
Okay, thank you.
You know, I've read poems about your daughter that you've written, so I don't think that, you know, there's anything wrong with writing about one and then writing about the other, maybe writing about them together. But your memories and your relationships are, you know, they have so many different connections. They're, you know, a poem is a moment, is a memory, and just because you're thinking about one thing at that very moment doesn't mean everything else doesn't matter. It just means that you're in that moment, right in that moment. So.
Oh, what a great way to look at that. I'm emotional over the holidays, so sorry if I sound nuts.
Oh, please, no apology necessary, please.
Nope,
Thank
not
you.
at all. Where do you want to go, hon? Oh.
Joseph Moon.
Joseph Moon. And who is reading Joseph?
I suppose you.
Me? Okay. I will read Joseph Moon. And this is called The Chameleon Man by Joseph Moon. A poet ponders in his dusty, dirty canyon. Chameleons wear the color of their companion. He wonders why the moth loves the flame that from the navy blue night bravely came. His youthful dreams are still the same. His life like a stream which flows on and on, like the love he knew, his greater dream is gone. Where the moon walks without her light, and the shadows lengthen far into the night, and sweet poetry hath lost its dear delight. The hue of his heart is colorless. End poem. So, as we were just talking about how Joseph writes about his wife,
Because
here's one right now.
Sun and moon and sun.
Right.
Yes. And I just read his author's notes. A sad tale of a poet man who lost his dream when he lost his love. But but you know, she lives on through him. And I've often told him in many of the comments that I've made to him that you know, Joseph, when you were writing this, she was standing just over your right shoulder. And that's how I feel. I honestly think that she sometimes is moving his pen for him. And that's what I get from this. It's just you know, it's a dark time, but she's there. And just like for you, I see they're both there. So this is okay. This is a wonderful brevity as always. What did you think on?
No, you know, I have to agree because I do love the line when he says chameleons wear the color of their companion. Because in love, we do wear the same color beautifully. Everything looks bright and wonderful, but to be without, the color fades. So when they leave, then our color changes with their departure. But I do love his closing when he speaks of where the moon walks without her light, and the shadows lengthen far into the night, and sweet poetry has lost its dear delight. The hue of his heart is colorless. His closing it does bring home is how when love is gone, the heart can be colorless, and only the return of that love will bring the colors back. Because there are certain people that color our lives in ways that nobody else can, and to be without, the days they move on, but they move on differently.
Yeah.
Wonderful, right, Joseph?
Yeah. What did you think, Deanne?
Yeah, I was just commenting on this. Well, he is just such an exquisite writer. Even though, as I'm saying, the sadness and grief flowing throughout is expressed in such eloquent beauty, and it makes me breathless that he's able to pour out his heart with such a gifted words that really engage us and hold us and make us feel what he's feeling, which is a powerful gift a writer can give his readers. And it makes me misty. It really does. Because as you said, Kay, life goes on, but it's different, absolutely different. And sometimes we wish it would not go on. No, just may the sun stay in the sky just a little longer. Don't let this day end. It's know that it moves on. And we have to go along with it. Sometimes I feel like we're being drugged, to the next day, the next day, the next day. And so he brings all that out of me. It's very emotive poetry. Wow. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sky, what did you think?
Well, I love Joseph. I love the piece. And Kate, I love those lines that Kate said. In the chameleons wear the color of their companion and wonder why the moth loves the flame. And in that last stanza, in that last line of that stanza, when he says his youthful dreams are still the same, to have lost something, yet still long for it the way that you did in years before, is commitment. Long after many things were severed from him, and where he says where the moon walks without her light, and I love that line because it's beautiful in itself. But when you look at his name, Joseph Moon, to me that's signifying that he is the moon, and the moon is walking without her light. So he is saying, but without saying, that he walks the world and without her light, and there's a sadness in that, and it cuts deep, and then in the shadows lengthen far into the night. I know that Kay had said those lines, but those three lines were so powerful, and really lent to the piece and the feeling and emotion behind it, and then he goes back to the colors. So he loops in the colors at the very beginning. He introduces the colors, and then he loops back in the color in the end, as if the world has turned to black and white, and the color has been taken from him. And as an artist, I think colors, and I know he enjoys art because every one of his pictures is very vintage art. So I do know that he values art, and an artist values color in whatever they're doing, and to have that taken away, it's just, it's tragic. And this was such a beautifully written piece, in tribute to his wife. It's really well done. And comment.
Yeah. We lost Icy. She had to step away.
Yeah. I'm going to drop this next one for Deanne.
Okay.
Yeah, because I linked these two to Deanne the other day.
All right. Deanne, would you like to read for Spiritual Angel?
Yes, that was perfect timing. I had to let my dogs out, so I just got back. Okay. Yeah. I just love that mute button. I tell you, I'm in love with that. Yeah, this is. Thank you so much for asking me to read this. This is quite a piece of just love dripping words. And he's got all these commas, so I will give it my best for him. And his quote is, "You're my moon, my sun, and all of my stars." And he calls it, "You're my love." We lift our eyes to the sky while we're lying down, caressing your hair, your tender little hand I'm kissing. We are each other, very much in love. Everything is around us, tells you you are beautiful at your disposal. Every part of nature is for both of us to make our love bigger and more beautiful. Everything for you, my beautiful lady, has been shown to us. Everything for you at your feet is prostrated. Every tree, every bird, everything in this huge meadow, everything for you, for what is most loved for me. Between sighs and kisses, I get lost. Love is what makes me sane. So much beauty my eyes see. You have all that beauty to which the red nightingales sing to you. You are the most sublime heaven gives me every day. Your hair shine when we are near the sea. You are my beautiful lady, my moon, my star passing by, my joy, my light, my sun every morning when I wake up. End poem.
Yeah, that was pretty good. What did you think of it, Deanne?
Oh, like I said, very passionate. I think he's really serious about her being his love. Wow, just incredible words, incredible imagery. Actually, it makes me, the whole time I'm reading, as you can tell, I'm smiling because it's just so powerful and intense to have a love like this for someone. And then to share that. Wow, you're my moon, my sun, and all of my stars. Now, I do know that by E.E. Cummings. That is really an excellent quote. So he did E.E. Cummings proud, I believe. Yeah. Wonderful job. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. And I think by the way he wrote this, it made me think that, when you're really in love or you found that right person and you're together, it seems like everything is prettier. You know what I mean? That's what I get from this. Everything's more beautiful. Everything's more vivid. I thought this was really, really cool. What did you think of?
Yeah, I have to agree with both of you because he wrote this in a very passionate, heartfelt way. Because when you do have that special person, and if you're able to hold that love and it stays as if the love has never changed, meaning that it's always staying the same no matter how much time has passed, it will be beautiful. And he gave such lovely visuals to think on, as well as describing the depth of his love that he felt and how it made him feel on the inside and how he saw her, how he saw things. This was a brilliant extension to the quote itself. It's a wonderful love story.
Excellent comment.
Sky has to be
Yeah, I saw Sky said she'd be right back, so we will move on.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that means? Okay.
I couldn't follow along. I couldn't. You know how my quiet is. I can't read the words, but I would like to comment briefly because I would, to me, hearing it, just I did. I how did you know? Wow, busted. The thing I like about this is hearing it while I was getting my pie. It almost could be read as if talking about Mother Earth and talking about nature, and I really love that when just hearing it, I get that vibe that yes, he could be talking about someone that he loves very dearly, but again, in a grander way, he could also be talking about the earth and everything around him, and I know that a lot of his rights is expansive in that way, where he reaches out and touches spiritual things and nature. So maybe that's just me knowing him as a writer, but hearing it and just going on that feeling, I really felt a connection and intervibe to the earth and everything that it gives to us. A lot, and to compare that to a love, if that's what he was doing, you know, it is overwhelming, because it's overwhelming to have that same feeling for a person that every, you know, the sun and that all these things that the earth gives us to us, and provides for us to live. So incredible, right? Really well done. And comment.
And comment. All right. Enter fork full of banana cream pie.
It's terrible. Terrible. Okay.
That sounds good.
No, I know. Okay, let me get to the page here. This was also from your contest. This was an HM winner. And this is by Guilty. And he went with the quote, "To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting." And he calls it the
obelisk.
The obelisk. Thank you. Cleopatra's Needle points in Central Park, straight up toward the stars, ignorant to the merchants and bankers jogging along the basin. Methuselah fountain spouts, whether fair or foul, despite the jugulars and poets, speak of nothing profound. How great is the lawn without the massive sprawl, greener than the grass on the Rossburn hand. The earth moves beneath us, even if we stand still, so we should keep walking before it becomes our stop. Reveal ourselves, fans makeup, live in our skies, live in our skins, as stretched as they've become, revel and live in as we are undone. End poem.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. I thought that this was very powerful. And I thought that last stanza really kind of ties it all together. Reveal ourselves, sans makeup, live in our skins, as stretched as they become, revel in living as we are undone. I thought that this was, you know, you need to be yourself and not who other people want you to be, is what he's saying. But also, where is it at? The second from, I'm going to end up taking the whole poem, but the second from the last stanza too, the earth moves beneath us, even if we stand still, so we should keep walking before it becomes our stop, meaning live, is what he's saying there. Live, because you never know when the earth is going to become where you're at, you know, when you're going to be buried. Okay, that's good. But yeah, I thought this was really great and very powerful. What did you think, hon?
Yeah, I did as well, because I definitely saw through his right. He did speak about the nitty-gritty of society and the realities of it, because he also draws on the grass being greener on the other side. But sometimes when one has that mentality, when they think that the grass is greener on the other side, sometimes it does take finding out on your own in every sense of the word as to what it is you want from life and where you're going. And sometimes what's on the other side could actually be a good thing, sometimes not, though. But sometimes the only way to know that is by experiencing it. And I did like the line, too, that you quoted, the earth moves beneath us, even if we stand still. We should keep walking before it becomes our stop. Reveal ourselves, fans, makeup, live in our skins. Because, you know, I do see it as a great ride all around. And talking about walking on the wild side, taking wrong turns. Because sometimes that can change your life if you go too far. And his comment back to me was, one should always look at the roads ahead of you, then forge your own. And I thought that was pretty cool, too, because sometimes you do have to create your own path. And sometimes when you find your own path, and like I said, it turns out to be the right one. Sometimes not, though, but the only way to find out is by doing.
Indeed. What did you think, Deanne?
Yes, thank you. You took my favorite stanza too, Kay. I love whenever they include skin in poetry. You know, it's just peeling the skin back and let our words be born. You know, that kind of thing. I love the quote, the chosen quote that he wrote to. Yeah, it's excellent lines. Excellent lines. I'm going through each one. Yeah, it was really powerful. Really powerful. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Excellent. Then, Sky, what did you think? If you're done eating your pie.
Well, no, I'm still eating it. I had to go away to get it. And I'm gonna, before I comment, Stephen, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but I'm gonna teach you. Can I teach you my favorite word?
Sure.
Okay.
It's penultimate. It is
What?
one of my favorite words. It's penultimate, and it means next to last. So.
Oh, okay.
It's the penultimate stanza. Yeah. Anyway, I love that word. This is. I only say that to you because I know you wouldn't take it all. Some people are like, "Excuse me," but I know you're not like that. So that is my favorite word. But I learned it from Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events when I was really young. Anyway, I like this one. So the opening stanza to me, it spoke of, where it says Cleopatra's Needle points to Central Park straight up towards the stars, ignorant to the merchants and bankers, and I think. To me, that opening speaks of how something, one, that people can just jog around and not really see, how we can just go about our lives and not really see other things that are going on around us. And then in another stance, that inadvertently, those things that are there can sometimes be untouched by the million of surroundings that are going on and still hold its beauty just the same and not be distracted by, when he says merchants and bankers, very specifically, to me that speaks of a certain type of, brand, that a person who is only concerned about money, or, not that they are, but to write and to pinpoint those specific specific jobs and something like that, buttons up people. When you think of bankers, you think of you just have a certain view, and I think by putting those two things together, he's saying, one, that we can go around our lives, like I said, and completely oblivious of where Cleopatra is going towards the sun, something beautiful, and inadvertently something beautiful can stand. But when you relate that to the end, where the grass is greener, and you go into that whole message at the end, I think they kind of play on each other and they kind of complement those interlocking messages. So I thought it was an interesting write that I think you could actually chew on for a little while. So really done well.
Mhm.
What I said might not make sense to anybody, but it makes sense to me, so it's okay.
Yes, I wanted to say goodnight to everybody. I just didn't want to hang up. So I wanted to say goodnight, and it was a great show. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Good night.
Yes,
Happy Thanksgiving, Deanne. Good night. Thanks for calling.
Yes, I really enjoyed it. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Okay.
Guys, ready to read?
I wanted Deanne to hear my poem.
Oh.
Well,
I think the pie got in the way.
It's okay. It was worth it. It was worth it.
Yes, I imagine it was.
pie is always worth it.
Yes. So in the mood for fruit pie.
Yeah, I know. Not now, though.
No.
No.
I got to cook the pumpkin pie later.
Yeah. The one that you linked me, Sky, is that the one you want to read?
Yeah, you guys haven't read it yet. So I have to go. I always try to find something you guys haven't read, but it's hard because you guys are stalkers.
We try to be.
And I actually prefer one that I've read before because then I've already commented.
Yeah.
No, I can't make it easy for you. Are you crazy? I don't think so.
Well, I could drop that down now.
All right, there it is. Is this about the character from Bloom County?
No.
I don't even know what that is.
It's an old comic strip. The penguin's name was Opus.
Yeah, Bill the Cat and Opus.
Yeah.
I don't think I know that. But Opus is a musical term for like overture.
I know that. Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
I know.
He's like, yeah, we're giving you ours. You and your chevrons. All right, so I thought this one, I picked you're right. And I thought this one would go to You Are My Sun, My Moon, and All of My Stars, because it's a love poem. All right, and I wrote it back in 2015, so opus. If I were to paint you into a poem, I'd use an interplay of colors composed of precious opal. I'd walk on foot in the calm of wood just before dawn, where a darker haze settles against scattering light. Blue and violet kissed against skin, humming orange rose. The earth pressed gentle, warm against bare feet. I'd carve you into the oak that looks over the river, where I dare confess my dreaming secret. Captivate them enduringly in the bark of legend. If I could write you into a poem, I'd word it into a rhythm of the beating of my heart, so that upon mountains I may sound your name, cast its shadows against music as far as lungs could reach. I would compose your every melody in whispered winds, hear it echo even in when twilight rests on horizon. My soul would leap taking your hand as you danced, and like the tapping of rain in infinite skies, I dance also, alongside my compositions that compel me to love you. End poem.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I was like, I was going to sneeze for a moment. Sorry. Let's set up. End poem.
Bless you.
No, it was good. It was good. My eyes started. When you, I just. Sorry to bring the whole mood down, but when you hold a sneeze and your eyes start to water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that. I just gotta let it go.
Let it go.
I know. Next time I will.
Nothing worse than being teased. Being teased by a sneeze is the worst, I think, where it comes and you think it's going to come and then it goes away.
Yeah.
Oh. But I love this poem. I like the use of colors that you put in here, and I really liked the, I'm not going to say second to last because it wasn't, the second stanza. I'd carve you into the oak tree that looks over the river, where I dare to confess my dreaming secrets, captivate them enduringly in the bark of legends. I'm seeing carving the initials into the tree. That's what that says to me. I don't know if I'm right, but that's what I see.
You are right. You are right.
All right.
You are right.
So this is really cool. I really like it. Thanks for bringing something I haven't stalked yet.
I deleted it, so it's not really your fault.
Oh, okay.
I'm like Disney, like Walt Disney when they bring stuff out of the vault.
Yeah.
When people start, that's what I do. That's what I'm going to say from now. I'm going to say this is from the vault. Some people will start yelling at me.
What did you think, hon?
Well, I'm guilty of that too. I delete stuff, and sometimes, oh my gosh, you would not believe the amount of stuff that's in my deleted folders. And sometimes I bring it out, just like you do, but a lot of times it just stays there. So I can understand about the vault. But this in itself, when you talk about if I were to paint you into a poem, but then you speak of the colors and how you see that one, and then talk about if I can write you into a poem. And I saw what Stephen was saying too. I thought this was a beautiful expression all around of how, in one's eyes, one can seem so beautiful, and you could paint them in such a way that in your eyes they'll be a masterpiece, a portrait that nobody else will see as you do.
Yeah.
Beautiful, right?
I agree.
Thank you.
I like it when I can get metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that this wasn't really deep in metaphor. It was kind of straightforward, and I thought you might like that about it.
Yeah.
But I guess, still metaphor. I guess.
It is.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of this one because it's so straightforward, and it's to me it's very honest, and it's too honest and too straightforward. So I'm not a huge fan of it, but everybody seems to like it. But it's a little too bare for me. It's too honest. If that makes sense.
I can understand that.
It shows
not hiding.
It shows too much.
You're not hiding
It shows
anything.
too much sappy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could definitely understand that. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. I'll read this one for you.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, I gotta get to the page if my phone won't behave.
Uh-oh, now your phone's misbehaving.
Well, I'm working on you too, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. This one is by Candy Brown, and it is called Bird Song. And she wrote to the quote, "I'd rather learn from one bird how to sing than teach 10,000 stars how not to dance." And it goes, "To flit lyrically, feather and frame, with the eternal sky, throat and tenor tenaciously, and slow, perfect garbles, warbles, cheeps and chirps. Do not ask me to beseech the stars who twinkle insistently. They dance to their own flamboyancy, and I to mine. Besides, I don't mind their scintillating celestial performance. No, not at all. Perhaps it is the stars whose exhilarating bright buoyancy provides the inspiration to propel us onward." And boom.
Huh. Very cool. She wrote this a week ago.
Yes.
Right when we built the show, huh?
Yeah.
I know she was looking forward to the show, so.
Well, she's at dead with the flu.
Yeah, I know. She wanted to call in. She's disappointed she couldn't call because she has the flu.
Yeah.
And right before Thanksgiving, that's horrible. But this is. I hope you feel better, Candy. I like this. Let's see. Do not ask me to beseech the stars who twinkle incessantly. They dance to their own flamboyancy, and I to mine. So that's basically, I think, going back to saying be yourself. I think. At least that's what I'm seeing. But I like this. It's pretty neat. What do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought too. About being yourself, marching to your own beat happily, and not needing to be anything else. Because their lines, they definitely did speak of it very well. Because, yeah, when you talk about dancing to their own flamboyancy and I to mine, and perhaps as the stars whose exhilarating bright buoyancy provides inspiration to propel us onward. But I love closing because when she talks about the stars' bright buoyancy, it does provide inspiration to move one. One should always strive to just be themselves and march to their own beat and not worry about what, trying to be like the next person, because that's where your uniqueness is being your own person and marching to your own beat. And that's not such a bad thing, because sometimes marching to your own tune, you bring something to the table that not everybody would be able to.
Yeah.
So shine on
you
your own.
Crazy diamond.
Yeah, shine on, you crazy diamond, in your own way. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, what did you think, Sky?
I love it. I definitely drum to my own beat sometimes. But you guys spoke on the message, and I do love the message, and it's right out there. But I thought it was an interesting way how she set it up with, not just saying, she doesn't come out and say it exactly the way it is. It's like almost having a conversation with somebody who's speaking to her, because she says, "Do not ask me to beseech the stars who twinkle incessantly." I love that. I love how she's speaking outwardly and saying, "Do not ask this of me." And then she goes on to the dance their own flamboyancy, and I to mine. And then the whole message at the end, that saying, it is that those different things that provides us inspiration and thrust us forward. But I also really loved her playful language too, with the to flit lyrically, feather and flame. Those F's are so lyric themselves in that stanza. I just love it. And then this stanza right here, which is it's really it's different on your palate, and it's different when you read it. When she writes, I'm sorry, I think I'm getting a cold, guys. When she writes the throating tenor tenaciously. So there's that bit of alliteration again. Throating tenor tenaciously. I love that. I want to be able to say that 10 times. And slow, perfect garbles, warbles. I'm not sure I know what that word means, and I'm going to have to Google it right now. Warbles. It's so, I love that when people teach me new words. But it sounds.
Yeah.
Huh? Do you know what it is?
I think it's another word for singing.
Yeah.
Definition.
I think.
Yeah, a bird singing softly and in succession of consistently changing notes. Oh, I like that because it gives more to the meaning with the singing to different notes, but singing all the same, but to different tones. So that word actually highlights the whole piece and its meaning in itself. And I got to learn a new word. Beautiful, beautiful, right, Andy? Beautiful, love it. Love the message. Love to play with language, play with alliteration, and how you taught me a new word. Really well done. Wordables.
Yeah.
Say that one.
And I was, yeah, it was a beautiful, right? I was wondering, Sky, did you want to read the one by Heavenly Angel or our list?
I'll do Heavenly Angel.
Okay. Let me go grab that
I
one
thought
for you.
Heavenly Angel was already read, wasn't it?
No, she was not read yet.
Spiritual angels, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
Okay. And here you go.
There it is.
Got like 15 tabs now. Because I'm doing that thing I said I wasn't going to do and comment later and keep the tabs that I do sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
She Loves Me by Heavenly Angel. Oh, I love her love poems. All right. True love hasn't died, and neither has romance. It lives within his touch, his smile. He shows me what love really is. One touch brought down my walls. One sweet feeling that makes me whole. His smile, only to truth does it trace. He's not like anyone else. He lets me be only myself. I never really had much self-worth, never believed in dreams coming true. One touch brought down my wall. He's loving me. He lets me be only myself. He shows me what love really is. True love hasn't died, and neither has romance. Only to truth does his smile trace. He's loving me. He shows me what love really is. End poem.
Yeah. Excellent read. And you read it, so you get to comment first.
Like dive right in. Don't even get a chance. No, I love it. I love how lyrical it is. You notice how some of the lines repeat? I think that really gives to the piece and almost makes it into a song. And I think if she took some of these and expanded some of the like chorus and broke it down into stanzas into chorus, I think it would make a really, really nice poem. I mean, a really nice song because it has, one, the lines themselves are very lyrical, but then again, you have the repeats and certain lines, which makes a chorus-like feel to it. So it was really enjoyable reading. I didn't get a chance to pre-read this one, and I like to do that. And I know you sent it to me, but I didn't because I got kind of confused. So the fact that I can read it the first time without reading it before and keep that pace and keep that feeling and have those that emotion, those waves that you hear in the voice and the lines, it is a tribute to the writer and the way that they write and how they pace and how they use grammar and how they break the lines. Because when a person who hasn't read it before can make those breaks and keep that pace and keep that feeling throughout, I think it is very much attributed to the writer and how they wrote it. And so well done on that, for one. And then the sentiment, always with her love poems, there is a deep sentiment into it that I always enjoy. Really well done. And,
yeah, I agree. I agree. I thought this was a beautiful write, and once again, I've said this probably a couple times already this show, but a lot of the poems seem to hint towards this, that, when the right person comes along, they can break down the walls that you've built up. They can make you a better person, and they can cause you to like yourself more than you did before. And I thought this was an excellent write. What did you think, hon?
Oh yeah, I agree with what everybody says, because she wrote to the lengthier quote that goes, "We do not believe in ourselves until someone reveals that deep inside us something is valuable, worth listening to, worthy of our trust, sacred to our touch. And once we believe in ourselves, we risk curiosity, wonder, spontaneous delight, or any experience that reveals the human spirit." The quote, her words, they definitely speak to that, because it's true, like you said, sometimes it does take just that one person, and they can change the outlook in many different ways, because we've definitely touched on that a lot tonight. Sometimes it is hard to like yourself, and sometimes it's hard to see certain things until you find that one special person. And then they change everything around for the better. And, her rights of love, they definitely speak from the heart, because they definitely have a lot to offer of what they say. Because I was reading something of hers earlier from the reading list about talking about love, where it was making the heart sing and wanting to shout it from the rooftops. That's the gist of her love poetry. It's felt deep to the core. It comes from a deep place within of love. It's a beautiful write all around, as with all of her love poetry.
Yes.
Okay.
People are going to think I'm talking to you.
Oh.
Talking to one of the cats saying, "Stay down there." I'm not talking to Kay.
I remembered the word.
Yeah.
I remembered the word.
What is it?
I remember the word. This is what I do when I sleep at night. I remember random stuff, and I can't go to bed because I'm remembering all the stuff I couldn't remember when I was awake. But that won't be tonight because I remember the word. It's analogy. Analogy. An allergy.
Oh, an allergy.
Right. No. It's not an allergy. And that's someone help me out. Yeah. I had a rough day. Analogy. Yes. It's harder. It's harder to speak with a cold. Yeah, analogy. That's the one. That's what I was looking for earlier. You use that word a lot. I don't know if you noticed, but
I guess I probably
out,
do.
You must like analogies because you point them out a lot in poems. So that must be something that you like, because I hear you comment on it a lot. So I was trying, what is that word? It's that one. I couldn't remember.
I didn't.
All right, I'm sorry. I got
That's
really
right.
excited for it because I remembered.
Well, see, that's the thing. We all have words that we use often. We can't help it.
Yeah.
It's just.
I'm not saying it's right. I like personification. I always say it. Whenever somebody has really good personification, I'm like, oh, this has great personification, and I say it all the time. I think Stephen might like analogies. But when I seen it in there, I was like, not a metaphor, that's the wrong word. And I was looking for that, and I couldn't grasp it in my brain. And that's what it was.
Yeah, and we don't usually realize that we do use a word a lot until somebody, points it out. And
I know.
Makes us feel horrible about it. No.
What?
I'm just
There's
kidding.
nothing wrong with liking words and liking poetic devices.
I know, I'm playing.
Next time I enter a content of yours, I'm going to start using analogies because I know you like them.
Okay.
That's what you do. You find out what people like in the content, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do all this stuff to try to grab them.
Okay. I look forward to that.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, if you ever write me something new, I'm sorry.
Well, it's like I said, we're all guilty of certain words. I used to use certain words all the time until it was pointed out to me, and then I tried to stop doing it because I realized I was using it too much. So I try to use different words now.
No, it's just be yourself. Remember, that's what a lot of these poems are saying.
Nothing wrong with using words you love. Nothing wrong with that. It becomes your signature word. Yeah, it doesn't. It's nothing wrong with that.
It is. It's just I want to change it up a bit.
Yeah.
With your arm.
You gonna try to read this?
I will try again. Okay. This was one of your HM winners from your contest. What quote did he use?
I think he just wrote about E.E. Cummings himself.
Oh, no. It says, when you use the quote, it takes courage to grow up and become who you really are.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
And this is by our list. And it is called A Little Person. And he uses E.E. Cummings' full name, Edward Esplin Cummings, rode Buffalo Bill's Water Smooth Silver Stallion into my high school English class in 1971 and broke 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 light bulbs just like that over my head. He was a forceful man, and what I want to know is, how do you like your blue-eyed boy, Mr. Poet? E.E. Cummings whistled the goat-footed balloon man's tune, far and wee, in just spring, and I heard nothing but the world as puddle wonderful. E.E. Cummings cut the tops off his capital letters, and I stayed a little person. A leaf falls, one only. I never signed my name in uppercase again. End poem. It is, yeah.
The form is really cool. It draws the reader in, I think, and it makes you think. And poems that make you think are always cool. But I thought the way I thought this, so many people influence our lives, and sometimes that does make us what we become too. You know what I mean? You idolize somebody, or you look up to somebody, so you kind of try to take on their traits. And I think that's where he was going here, that he idolized E.E. Cummings in a way, so he kind of mirrored him.
Yeah.
And he took a little bit of E.E. Cummings into his own self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought this was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was cool, too, because it had its own unique originality with how he wrote it. He definitely brought a lot of expressionism, passionate through the words, too, because the quote that he chose, not taking oneself too seriously, it's cool to not take yourself too seriously in life, and no matter how old you are, you slowly learn at one point or another, having the courage to finally be the person who you really wanted to be. And sometimes it takes a while to be that person and to do it without fear, but having fun doing it. Sometimes it takes a while to get there, but when you do, it's awesome, because then you don't give a damn. You don't care about anything.
Yeah.
You're just marching to your own beat and having fun doing it. Yeah. But I also see that this, too, is a right that, about E.E. Cummings that in his own way inspired him. And, it's great when writers can do that, when they can inspire one in such a way that it influences their life and how they see things. And it's just an awesome ride all around.
Yeah.
It was unique. It was original. It was cool.
Yeah, it was unusual.
Yeah, it was cool.
I'm going to Kath and Kim now.
Yeah, it was nice. It was different. Nice.
Yeah, it was unusual.
Yeah, it was a great ride. It seriously was.
What did you think, Scotty?
I think it was great, right? And I think you're right. I think it was a little off color. And the thing I like about it is that he mentions about the fact that he writes in all lowercase letters, and if you notice, even the I is in lowercase, and how that transcends into writing into somebody's own poetry. And what that makes me think of is when I first joined JP, I used to write in all caps because I grew up loving Robert Frost. And anybody who has read Robert Frost knows that he hardly ever uses grammar, and he uses all caps. Every line starts with the caps on a lot of his poems. So when I always wrote poetry, I always, without realizing it, I just tend to write. I tend to write in all caps and no grammar. It's actually because I'm bad at grammar, so I just cut that out. So and then when I went onto the site, I had this one person who followed me, and we went back and forth, and she was a lovely person, but she had strong opinions about capitalization. She, like, even with the I, she wanted it lowercase. She's like, get rid of all the caps. I'm just like, I don't want to get rid of all the caps. I like all the caps. But, as time I progressed and I developed, I was kind of like, all right, I don't really like the caps. And I actually got rid of all caps for a while. And then as time progressed more, I was like, all right, I'm horrible at grammar, but I'm going to try it. So now if you see some of my rights, none of them are ever all caps anymore. That I got away with. But some of them, I lowercase the I if it's a poem where I'm trying to make the message that I may feel like I'm not enough. If that is the way that if it's the melancholy and I get rid of all grammar and I get in all rid of that, and those tend to be those waterfall rights. And then sometimes I put in the grammar, and then I keep in the caps, and then those tend to be a certain style of writing. And now I kind of interchange it. But it was a series of influences. And so when he says that, when he does that one simple thing, and he says that how he was influenced, and he even puts it in there with the I don't sign my name with a capital letter, which one gives to the message, don't take yourself too seriously, but also gives to the style of writing and how he was influenced. It triggers this entire backstory of my own experiences, which is really, great when you read poetry and you can connect to it on those levels. So I really liked that aspect, and I really liked the aspect of the whole don't take yourself seriously, because that's something I often have to remind myself of. And that is something that I've learned over years, because I was never good at being the joke, being the butt of a joke. Maybe it was because the way that I grew up, because I was teased. I'm not really sure, but I'm terrible at being the butt of the joke. But over the years, I've strengthened that, and when people do that, I'm like, you just stop taking yourself. You got to laugh. And sometimes people do say I'm a little bit too serious, even though I'm very playful. But when it comes to that kind of stuff, I get kind of serious. And it's something that I work on every day, because I don't want to be that serious. I mean, everybody has their own personality, but it's not something that I want to be so sensitive about. So I liked his message in here, because I think sometimes we can all hear it, and we can all say, hey, let's not take yourself too seriously now, and laugh some things off, and maybe not be so opinionated sometimes. So I really liked it. And someone
awesome.
cut me off.
I never thought you were overly serious. I just met you 6 months ago probably, but I always thought you take a joke pretty well, even when I directed.
It took a long time. It took a long time for you to do. I think I do a pretty good job now, but I wasn't always that way. It took a while. I mean,
Yeah, I can understand.
And I think part of that is when you're in constant defense mode, it's hard not to be defensive. And I think for a long time I was in a real defense mode, and I think it took time and years and growth to come out of that defense mode, and to say, all right, I don't need to have all my defenses up, locked and loaded 24/7. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I understand how that goes.
Yeah, those can get tiring.
It does, yeah. Because then you run out of friends too.
All right. Did you want to do acknowledgments before or after?
Oh, we can do it after, because this is the last one for tonight.
All right.
gold winner.
My gold winner.
From the contest.
From the contest. And I will read for Phil the Poet. As soon as my phone, there it is. A Valiant Warrior Called Love by Phil the Poet. Love is a valiant warrior that stands tall, answering the sound of the soul's bugle call, sword drawn to protect a wounded heart that has been viciously torn apart. Grief is a distortion of love's guiding hand. Distress leaves me in the burning sand. Your love lifts me up from my watery grave. Love is the master, and I am the slave. Hope drives away fear to a distant planet. Love broke through this heart of granite. Now I'm drifting through the atmosphere. The pain seems to scream and disappear. I stumble under the weight of emotion, lost all sense of true living devotion. But love takes those dark emotions away, gives me the chance to live another day. I lean on hope as she takes care of me, singing so sweetly an angel melody. She calms the moon's tidal wave. She is the mistress, and I am the slave. I survived the emotional turmoil, planted love's seed in fertile soil. The clouds open at hope's command. Rain pours new life upon the land. Valiant love is still my master, protects me from emotional disaster. Carrying hope is still my mistress, kept me safe from all distress. Love revives my dying belief. Hope carried me through my grief. End poem.
And what quote did he choose this morning?
The quote he chose is, "Love is the voice under all silences, the hope which has no opposite in fear, the strength so strong, more fierce in feebleness, the truth more first than sun, more last than stars." End quote. And I thought this was really cool, and yeah, of course I did. I gave him the gold. But the imagery that he used really paints a picture of love, saving him from pain and grief. And I know that, he found his true love and was very patient about it, since it was a long distance relationship for so long before now they're finally together. But yeah, I really, really like this one. This one really spoke to me about love saving you from yourself, basically, which is kind of what happened to me.
Yeah, sometimes you need love to save you from yourself, especially if you are so lost within, because you definitely were lost. But the thing is, it took you a while, even after you had me, to find where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I still had the walls up.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a while to let those down. And, yeah, it didn't take you until you didn't let the walls down until you were in your 40s.
Yeah.
That says a lot. I've been with you for a long time, man. You have not been easy, but it was worth it as well.
Yeah, I'm glad it was. I'm glad we stuck it out.
Yeah, I know.
The good ones are never easy. The good ones are never easy, Teller, Stephen.
Yeah.
It's been a lot. It has been a lot. That's for sure. But yeah, Phil's right. I could see why he gave it the gold, because it definitely does bring great strength and meaning about how the power of love and hope can change a person. And when you carry both into the relationship and you keep the fires burning, what it gives back can be so meaningful as well. I love the line when he says, "Love is a valiant warrior, stands tall," because it can't stand tall on its own and withstand what may come to try to hurt the heart. And I can say that I understand that well, because through the years we've been through a lot of stuff. So in our own way, we were valiant warriors who stood tall. But then I also like the line, "Grief is the distortion of love's guiding hand." And, this reminds me of a quote that I've always heard, and it's very true, that grief is the price paid for loving someone. But it should never be seen as weak, because it is a testament of great love. And to be without it, it does sadden a heart. So, yeah, one should never feel bad for grief, because it is the ultimate price of loving somebody. But I also like the line, "Hope drives away fear to a distant planet." Hope is a great thing to hold on to, as it can be the beacon to guide one home, and it can help them to stand strong against what comes in life. And then when he talks about love reviving his dying belief and hope carried me through my grief, it's a beautiful closing because it sums it up beautifully as to strength that one. And keep fighting, keep loving, and keep living. Especially if you have somebody in your life standing by your side, it makes it more easier to want to keep doing all that.
Yes, indeed.
Even if it takes till you're in your 40s.
Even if it takes that long. What do you think, Sky?
I think Kay dissects a poem so well, it's hard to go after her. It's this was really wonderful, and you know what? I'm going to shamelessly use my favorite word 18 times in this. I love that he puts the first personification in love is a valiant warrior and stands tall. There's so much of it. He takes all the emotions and he puts that personification in there. And in a way, he could also be talking about his person he loves. But I really loved that beginning. That love is a valiant warrior and stands tall, because right off the bat you feel empowered. You feel the strength of it. You feel the weight of it, and then it sets up a domino effect for the rest of the poem, where you're almost revved to read it, and then grief is a distortion of love's guiding hand, and I think that is very true. There are a lot of things that grief can do, and even I fell victim to it recently. Actually, I think grief makes us do and say some crazy things. And sometimes feel, and sometimes even grief can drum up, and I'm speaking from recent experience, can drum up a lot of emotions that we may have shoved down so far deep, but then when those emotions come out, they are distorted because they are, and you're in a heightened sense of emotion now, and it kind of in a way it distorts love, because you're not giving that love enough credit. You're speaking through grief and through anger and through all the feelings that grief holds with it. So grief to me is just grief. I think grief sometimes holds a bitterness and anger, because sometimes when you're grieving, you're angry. Maybe you've lost somebody, so that for that you're angry. There's a lot more emotions, I think, that just grow with grief. And I love that in that stanza he wrote that, because I think there's a deeper message in there. And then where is it? Oh, this one. I love them all, but there was a few that really stuck out for me. And it was, I lean on hope as she takes care of me, singing so sweetly an angel melody. She calms the moon's tidal wave. She is the mistress, and I am the slave. I love that. I love that stanza. The idea of leaning on hope. It's just a brilliant one. And then he talks at the end about survival and how, as Kay said, the revival of a dying ballet. I thought it was brilliant, and I can definitely see why he got the gold. Good job, Phil, and comment.
All right.
Yeah, I have to agree with what Sky said, because grief is, it takes you in a lot of different directions. It can cause bitterness, it can cause anger, and how you take it out on others. We've definitely experienced that, so we understand what that means.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Acknowledgement time?
Yeah. I had wanted to say, of course, from the contest, thank you for the people who participated from the contest, and, of course, our callers, and then the few people who had just dropped down on the board for tonight. Phil the Poet, T. Perry, Jess Graham, Spiritual Angel, Arliss, Guilty, Heavenly Angel, Joseph Moon, Candy Brown, and then, of course, our callers tonight, Deanne, Wayne, Sky, and IC.
Identity Crisis.
Yeah, Identity Crisis. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm so used to calling her IC.
Yeah,
I know. But did you want to talk about next week?
Next week in the poetic inklings of tomorrow, the prompt will be
The Nutcracker and Mouse King by E.T.A. Hoffman.
Yes.
We still got to figure out the aspects of it, but with December coming, we're going to have a lot of holiday-themed shows, even for the Poetic Inklings.
Yep.
Because actually, I think I have...
Even for the dark shows, too.
Yeah, I know. Because I think for the Poetic Inklings, I have it all figured out for the month of December. We have one more right for tonight, I think. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, Zappa.
Zappa dropped one.
Yeah. So we'll get to our last right in a minute. But for the Poetic Inklings, I know next week I want to do the Nutcracker and Mouse King. I did my research on that.
Right.
And I know the week of Christmas, you said you wanted to do The Night Before Christmas by Clement Brown?
Yes.
And then the week before that, you wanted to touch on Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens, yes.
Yes. And then somewhere in between there, on the second week of December, I was actually thinking, because I came across this guy, I think you'll be tickled about this one. I was thinking of doing Harry Potter.
Yeah.
We were watching Harry Potter tonight. Deathly Hallows Part 2. And my mother, who's never seen any of them, is now making me explain to her about Snape's death, which is my favorite part of the entire series, because then if you haven't read the books, which I have, you learn that he's not really evil. And she made me sit there through my favorite scene and try to explain something that is so hard to grasp if you haven't seen or watched or read anything. How do you know? Oh, because you must have seen my Hufflepuff. Did you see my Hufflepuff scarf picture? Is that why? How did you know I liked Harry Potter?
I've seen you post a few pictures. I actually have some sitting on my phone that I've been waiting to share with you as well.
Oh. I'm like, wait a minute. You're a true stalker. I'm like, how do you know Harry Potter? You must have seen my Hufflepuff scarf. That's what it is. Yeah. I was Harry Potter for Halloween. I was a Hufflepuff student. Yeah, I took the kids out because I had to wear a Halloween costume. My goddaughter wanted me to be Spider-Man, and I said, Auntie's not wearing spandex. And that was the end of that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's read Zappa, drop the poem in there. Let's read it and get some comments on there. And I need some food.
Yeah, I know. Same here.
It's been a while.
I know. Okay. But you read for Zappa the other night. I'm going to let you read because you read it past me.
You want me to read? It's kind of long for Zappa too. Wow.
Yeah.
This is called "Love is a Word We Put in a Drink Like" by Zappa, or as he would say, some weird guy kissing a wood spirit.
No, he says a weird guy holding a turtle.
No, it's a new picture now. He's kissing a wood spirit. He's not holding a turtle anymore.
Oh, I love the turtle. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll be quiet.
All right, here we go. Love is a word we put in a drink like ice and whiskey. Pain is the fragment in our minds we forget to see. Forget. A rotten piece of fruit fettering away, as impossible to say how to feel and function in this norm society, stoic and lax of emotion on the outside, screaming for release deep inside. Please help me, please. To God, I can't complain for the way I was raised. You are the shining diamond in my windowed mind. Apart from all else, it's your flower heart insight that tears at me into two. One for me and one for you. I cannot deny that you care for both of me, both of us, of you and me together forever. Not long enough in this fleeting time we die, only to be reborn alone all over again. End poem. Deep.
Yeah, and he chose the quote, I like my body when it's next to yours.
Yeah. But deep imagery. Oh, I'm going to have to read this a few times. Especially that end. I see I know I've talked to Zappa before, and he believes in reincarnation, and that's what he's talking about at the end. And and we do come into the world. People say we come into the world alone and we die alone. This is really deep. I don't know what else to say right now. I have to read this again. I'm bookmarking this one, Zappa.
No, he always, he's always down on himself. In certain ways, he's like Rick. He doesn't think his writing has meaning, but his writing has great wisdom. And then comments that he gives as well, they're very packed with wisdom. But this it definitely speaks about a lot of aspects of love. I like how he starts out, love is a word we put in a drink like ice and whiskey, and then pain becoming a fragment of our mind. That talks about with love, you will have the pain, and talking about forgetting to see and forget. It's very easy sometimes when you are in love to just kind of also drift away and not see what's in front of you. Sometimes it can be a very slow decline where you just forget to see what's in front of you and forget about the emotions that once were there. And sometimes it can be very easy to just step away from those emotions too. But yeah, all around, this is a very emotional rite.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely speaks of love, but also of love lost. But then when it talks about not only long enough in a sweet time we die, only to be reborn alone all over again. Sometimes in life we do find ourselves alone after we've had to say goodbye. Sometimes that can be a rebirth in itself, because sometimes people that come into our lives are not always necessarily meant to stay there for a long time. Sometimes the people that come into our life are there for a reason, and they're only meant to be there for a short amount of time. I know with a lot of the conversations he and I have, I definitely believe in the being reborn again, and I definitely do believe in what you were saying as well, because it is very possible for reincarnation to exist. All around this is a wonderful rite, because even as ends, it definitely speaks of loving somebody, but loving them as a friend, because they were lovers long ago, but it just folded into how it was supposed to be, and now they're dear friends. Yeah. It's a wonderful rite, Zappa.
Yes, it is. Very deep. What do you think, Sky? Oh, and by the way, Sky, did you hear that? Our cat just lets the sneeze out. Just lets it out.
I know. I'm not the only one. I don't know if I have a cold or not, but I've had this like sneeze, and I've had like this like constant like cold like voice. I don't know. You guys don't want to hear about my problems. I thought this was a really great piece. And what I really loved about it is Zappa has such an infectious personality. And when he writes and when he reads, and I could hear you mimicking that personality, And, the best way to try, pain is a fragment of minds. We don't forget the rotten piece of fruit. He weaves in and out with his volume. And I love that about when he reads, because his volume goes theatrical on like a volume 10 down to like a volume 1 in like 2.5 seconds. You don't even, before you're looking, you're already down there. He's like whispering to you, and then he goes back, and it's like a lull back and forth. And you did that with your voice, and I appreciated that, because I think it's infectious when Zappa does it, and I love that you pay tribute to that by reading it for him like that. So one, great job there. Two, I did love the message. I really liked the where was it? The rotten piece of fruit, fettering away and impossible to say how I feel and function in this norm society. That separateness, that feeling of, not connected, and the stoic and lax of emotion on the outside. And then he was teetering on it before, but now he's just saying it just how it is, feeling on the outside, and not even the word itself is even in quotations, separate from the rest of the piece, to even more dig in that feeling of solitude. So I really like how he did that, how he completely took that word and separated it in itself to get through the message of that loneliness. And and then the screaming, and then how he cuts to, he says, please help me. But then there's just the word please, and I think please is such a powerful, powerful word. I'm not the only one with the sneezes, I'm sorry. But I please, that line, that separateness of the please is just, I love that, because please can be a very, very powerful word. It makes you stop and it makes you think. If someone's demanding something, your defenses already go up. They're like, why are you yelling at me? Why are you demanding things? Who are you to demand something to me? There's like that give, and you can't even help it. It's almost natural. But when someone says please to you, all of a sudden you listen a little bit closer and you listen a little bit more, because it signifies a vulnerability. And I think, when you feel like someone is vulnerable, there is that compassion inside of you that all of a sudden clicks. It clicks into place, and you are now listening even more intently to the other person. And the way that he shifts those two stanzas with that one word and then becomes vulnerable at the end, rather than having that volume in the beginning, I think was a brilliant way to write. End comment.
I think so too.
Only because I don't want to. I don't think I breathe through that, so I gotta breathe.
All right. Well, that's the end of the show.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You mentioned about poetic inklings for the month of December. Did you want to give a shout out to Saturday night?
Saturday Night, the best Christmas movie ever made, Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yes. Kay has a picture that shows Hans Gruber just as he's starting to fall, and it says, "It's not Christmas until I see Hans Gruber fall off the Nakatomi Plaza."
Yes.
It's true.
Yes.
We need some rights, though.
Yeah, I gotta find my inspiration, and we have a contest going right now for that. It's also open to pre-writes if anybody has a Die Hard pre-write.
Yep, or one that just kind of fits the prompt.
Yeah.
Will work.
And then Tuesday we're rolling over. We're finishing up with the Joker.
Yes. And then next Wednesday is the Nutcracker and the Mouse King.
And then Thursday.
And Thursday is Sting.
Yes. And then we'll figure out Saturday this weekend.
Wait. Back up. Hold on. Did you just say the Nutcracker and the Mouse King?
Yes, next Wednesday.
Yes. What am I doing? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
they
sorry,
can still
go
hear
ahead.
at least for another 10 minutes. No, we're done. That's it. We're done. We're going to play some music, and I'm going to get some food in my stomach before I drive our very bored son home.
Yeah. Okay. Did you want me to hit your closer?
Yep, hit the closer.
Okay. I will do that.
Hit it.
In case Sky hangs up, I will just say
Happy
good night,
Thanksgiving.
Sky. Happy Thanksgiving. And I hope you're not getting sick.
Yeah, me too. Sucks to be
Me
sick
too.
on a holiday.
I'm not sure what it is. I have to do everything I did today again with somebody else tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Long day.
It's gonna be good.
All right.
Okay, you want me to hit the closer?
Hit the closer.
Okay, here I go.
And that's the end.
That is the end.
So good night, Sky, and happy Thanksgiving.
And to
Good night.
everybody who is listening, happy Thanksgiving. Good
night. Happy Turkey Day.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Good
You
night.
too.
Good night.
Good night.
And for your sneeze later, bless you.
Bless you, yeah. And for everybody who's listening or will be listening, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.